Global software competitiveness is a critical ingredient to the nation's prosperity, centered around controlling scarce personnel resources, valued customers, ruthless competitors, and chaotic event threats. The Global Software Competitiveness Program, sponsored by the Center for National Software Studies, provides a collection of fundamental observations on the stage we play on and the route to global software competitiveness. Dr. Alan Salisbury, former president and chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Center for National Software Studies, elevated the importance of software when he made the eye-opening observation that software was the infrastructure within the critical infrastructure. These industry sectors do the heavy lifting. Each industry depends on particular value points that demand deep domain expertise. For example, in telecommunications, these value points include network control and switching systems, satellite control and management systems, mobile communication systems and protocols. In financial, these value points include electronic commerce and electronic funds transfer systems, transaction processing systems, security and privacy management systems, network management systems. In order to remain competitive, these value points are tagged as strategic assets, subjected to the rigors of the enterprise strategic planning process, and allocated resources to achieve the best industry practice in their project management, product engineering, and process management. To be able to systematically tackle the challenge of global software competitiveness, the leading indicators of global software competitiveness need to be collected under various themes. For example, global software competitiveness can be organized into activities associated with supplier control, customer control, competitor control, and event threat control. Each of these themes can be thought of as a level of maturity in working towards global software competitiveness. And so the Global Software Competitiveness Capability Maturity Model is born. Just what are the leading indicators of global software competitiveness? Here are 83 leading indicators associated with global software competitiveness. Let me touch on a few that may be on your mind. Boldness, indecisive action in the face of uncertainty. Chaos, where disruptive technologies threaten to alter the landscape at any time. Civility, demanded by the diversity of the global village. Commodity view, with its low margins and low status. Disintermediation, and skill sets less stratified by level or seniority. Intellectual property, like patents, trademarks, and trade secrets. Network security, and exposure in a dangerous world. Offshore outsourcing, with its risks and rewards and partners in faraway places. Open source, because it's there for you and your competitors. Privacy, both internal and external. Piracy of intellectual property. Staff churn and loss of experience, knowledge, and corporate culture. Time to market and frequency of release. Of course, the supplier comes first. Taking a closer look, supplier control is achieved by establishing an attractive workplace culture, achieving maturity in process and skills, deepening industry relationships, and retaining personnel. The supplier control leading indicator cluster is shown here, organized by state, precondition, post-condition, and outcome. Notice that staff churn is the leading outcome to control. This time, the customer comes second. The art of customer control is achieved by deepening customer relationships, balancing business factors, and achieving total customer satisfaction. The customer control leading indicator cluster is shown here. Here, the leading outcomes to achieve are customer loyalty, disintermediation, customer satisfaction, and delivery of value. The competition also needs to be controlled. Controlling the competition is achieved by deepening community relationships, fielding superior products, and setting the direction for the niche. The competitor control leading indicator cluster is shown here. Here, the leading outcome to achieve is setting the standard for the niche. Anticipate and avoid. Controlling event threats and change is achieved by guarding against government intrusion, applying strategic software management, performing due diligence, and understanding reality. The threat event control leading indicator cluster is shown here. Here, the leading outcome to achieve is software competitiveness. Chaos starts here. The Global Software Competitiveness Dependency Network, shown here, suggests the difficulty in locking in gains and the need to achieve maturity at each level, theme by theme. Analytics and measurement can end chaos. Locking in the gains and achieving global software competitiveness begins with a realistic assessment of the leading indicators, dimensions, and theme for each level. In addition to readiness, the importance of each dimension is assessed in order to calculate shortfall. Shortfall is calculated as readiness minus importance, all divided by importance. Putting it all together, using the results in the locking in the gains table, a graph for each theme is plotted. The opportunities for improvement are readily apparent. Where do we stand? Here, the locking in the gains scores for the US and notional scores for Europe and Asia are postulated and plotted for comparison by Global Software Competitiveness theme. Notice that the US is strong on customer control and weak on event threat control. Europe is strong on event threat control. Asia is strong on supplier and customer control, but weak on competitor control. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses. Global software competitiveness is a matter of national will. The US depends on luck and good fortune. More willing to outsource than to invest in skills, the US is willing to take uncalculated risks, tolerate defects in production and use, cater to customers, and invest in innovation. Europe is guided by entrenched culture, willing to sustain K-12 standards, but unwilling to trade off culture and lifestyle or oppose unions and outsource jobs offshore. Europeans are unwilling to cater to customers, take risks, or invest in innovation. Asia is guided by reason and realism, willing to accept the realistic role as cheap labor commodity supplier, and willing to take calculated risks. Asia is untested as an innovator and global partner. Just what is your competitiveness goal? Operationally, the stages of competitiveness include make and sell, sense and respond, and anticipate and lead. In make and sell, the goals are to achieve process efficiency and deliver quality products. This is the current state to which industry aspires, increasingly based on compliance. In sense and respond, the goals are to listen to the voice of the customer and to deliver satisfying solutions. Too often, this is a failed state, with many contradictory customer voices to respond to. In anticipate and lead, the goals are to understand the deep needs of the customer and to deliver transforming innovations. This represents the game-changing state to which truly competitive enterprises need to aspire if a nation is to be globally competitive. Going forward, each region and enterprise must choose the goal mix that suits its national culture, strategic needs, business objectives, and human resource and infrastructure capabilities. The U.S. needs to improve its ability to anticipate and lead by trading simply being lucky for actually being good, by boosting its science, technology, engineering, liberal arts, and mathematics capability. Europe needs to improve its capability to sense and respond by being more willing to cater to its customers. Asia needs to continue its ability to make and sell by sustaining its role as cheap labor commodity supplier. Here is my contact information. I'd be happy to receive questions and have discussions with people on this important subject.